Hello friends, so today in this video we are going to talk about Fourier's law of heat conduction. Okay, so basically it is the study of heat transfer by conduction. So it is given by the equation Q by A proportional to dt over dx. So it is defined as heat transfer per unit area is directly proportional to temperature gradient. Okay, so the area is always perpendicular to the surface. So if you see its elaborated definition, then it is defined as the rate of flow of heat through a homogeneous solid is directly proportional to the area of the section at right angles to the direction of heat flow. So we can see that it is perpendicular to the area to the heat in the direction of heat flow, and to the change of temperature with respect to the length of the path of the heat flow. So I'll write it down. Okay, so if you see its elaborated definition, then the rate of heat flow through a given solid is directly proportional to the area of the section perpendicular to the direction of heat flow and to the change of temperature with respect to the length of the path of heat flow. So this is the elaborated definition, and if you need the shorter definition, then I'll write it down over here. So it is defined as heat transfer per unit area is directly proportional to temperature, and this is the definition. Q by A is directly proportional to the temperature gradient. Okay, one thing you have to keep in mind that the area is always perpendicular to the direction of heat flow, so it will be very helpful in numericals as well, because all the questions are most of the questions do use the areas. Okay, so you have to find out in questions. Now when the sign of proportionality gets removed from here, so we'll obtain equation Q by A, or Q is equal to minus K A dt over dx. Here negative sign describes that suppose here it is a wall. Okay, and here there is some temperature T1 and there is some temperature T2. Then what happens, it is at some temperature T1 at high temperature, and it loses its temperature and reaches to T2. So this is the reduction in temperature, so it balances, or it shows the decreasing temperature along the direction. Okay, so this is for the balancing as well, and to take care of the decreasing temperature. If you want to understand it a little bit more, then I'll explain it to you. Suppose T1 is some temperature, then it will be higher temperature. If we move in positive x direction, then what happens, the difference dt would be T2 minus T1, and this would be always negative. So this negative sign is cancelled by this one negative sign, and we will obtain Q as some positive value. Okay, so this is the application of this negative sign in the given Fourier's law equation. So there are some assumptions in Fourier's law. So first assumption is conduction always takes place under steady state condition. Second one is heat flow is in unidirectional, so heat will flow in single direction. Temperature gradient is constant, so dt over dx will not change along the direction, so temperature distribution will be constant. There will be no internal heat generation, means that in the body there will be no, and internally there is no heat generation source will be available, and the material will be isotropic, means that the value of K is constant throughout the body or the substance or the material. Now here in this we have obtained a constant K. This is called thermal conductivity constant. Okay, so K is a thermal conductivity. Okay, this is a constant. This is used to define that how much material could transfer heat from it to another body. So basically the thermal conductivity is the property of material or substance that characterizes its ability to transfer heat by conduction to another body, and by that we can say that larger the value of K, there will be larger the heat transfer rate. Okay, so the value of K for metals is very high, as followed by for non-metals and plastic it is very low, so that there will be very less heat transfer in plastics but very high heat transfer in metals. Now let us find out the unit of K. So we know the formula that Q is equal to Ka, temperature difference T1 minus T2 upon length L. Okay, so here we can separate it out. K K would be equal to Q into L divided by area into T1 minus T2, that would be temperature. So what is the unit of Q? The unit of Q is watt, and unit of length is meters, and for area it would be meter square. Similarly for temperature it would be Kelvin. Okay, so watt per meter Kelvin, watt per meter per Kelvin. Okay, so this would be the unit of thermal conductivity. Now let us see the analogy in between heat transfer and current transfer. Okay, so we have the formula Q is equal to change in temperature upon RTH. I will explain it later. And current is equal to change in voltage or delta V divided by resistance. So first of all, let us check out what is RTH. So we know the formula Q is equal to Ka dt over dx. Okay, now when Ka will move down over here, then it will be dt upon dx whole divided by Ka, or let us put some value for dt, t1 minus t2 or t2 minus t1 upon for this, let us dx would be length L upon Ka. So the value L upon Ka is RTH. This is called RTH. So RTH is equal to L upon Ka. Okay, so this is the resistance. So the analogy in between heat transfer and current transfer would be Q is compared to current I. Temperature difference is considered as change in voltage or potential, and RTH is the resistance. You can see as well heat transfer occurs due to temperature difference, we all know. Okay, it is due to the temperature difference, and current always flow due to the potential difference. So this is heat, this is current, and this is the resistance which is the obstacle in the way of heat transfer or in the way of current transfer. We all know about this. So now let us see what happens to the thermal conductivity when we increase temperature. Okay, so when we increase temperature, what happens to the thermal conductivity of the materials? Now for the metals, when we increase temperature, then what happens when we increase temperature, then its thermal conductivity value decreases. Okay, now we will explain it later in the same video. Okay, now when we increase temperature for the non-metals, okay, then its thermal conductivity increases. Now for the liquids, this is for metals, non-metals, liquid, and then gas. Now for the liquid, when temperature increases, its thermal conductivity value decreases, and for the gases both increases. Okay, sorry, when we increase temperature, then its thermal conductivity value increases. Okay, now why is it happens that in metals when we increase the temperature, its thermal conductivity value decreases? Now what happens, that conduction of heat in metals takes place due to the two reasons. First one is migration of free electrons, and the second one is the lattice vibrations. Okay, so migration of free electrons, and the second one is vibration of lattice. Okay, so lattice vibrations in metals only. So when we increase temperature, then what happens, the free electrons starts moving very rapidly. Okay, now the heat transfer increases at the starting. Okay, now after some time, what happens that their vibrations increases in the metals very high. Then due to that, there is obstruction in the way of electrons, and due to that obstruction in the way of flow of electrons, that results in decrease of the value of K. So it may result in net decrease in the heat flow, and hence for the most of the metals it decreases when we increase the temperature. So for most of the metal, when we increase the value of T, the value of K decreases. Okay, while in the non-metals there is no free electrons. Okay, so there is no free electrons, So when we increase the temperature, there is a lattice vibration in it. Okay, so due to lattice vibration, it increases, lattice vibration increases, and due to that flow of and number of collisions increases per unit time when we increase the temperature. So due to that, rate of flow increases in non-metals when we increase the temperatures. And for the gases, there is again the same thing. When increase the temperature, then its collisions increases in it. Then due to that increase in collisions, the value of K increases. And for the liquid, you have to find out that what happens in liquid, why when we increase the value of T, the value of K decreases. If you have got any answer, then give it in the comment box. Okay, so this is it. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then do give thumbs up and like, share and comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching.